so demoralizing. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. So once they got both a run and a pass, and that's the other thing is Elway was not a run quarterback. That was one of the great things about Steve Young, is that he was a great passer and a good runner. I mean, he was a bruiser too. He was about 240 pounds.
It scares me to death.
Oh, I know.
Quarterback does that.
Remember the time he got his helmet ripped off and he kept going?
Yeah.
He's running full speed. He gained like 40 yards without a helmet, and it's like you're going, holy cow, the guy's got a death wish. That's one of the most incredible runs you'll ever see. But I remember watching him when I was in college because, of course, he played at BYU.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's now 11:30. We're going to go ahead and kick off our pre-commission portion of our meeting today. I don't have anything to share, but I wanted to see if we have any housekeeping items or questions about the agenda.
Madam President?
Commissioner McKinney.
I do have, let's see, item 3 on the consent agenda. I have some questions about it. And in fact, I prefer that we defer that item for a week before deciding it. So in any case, for that purpose, I would request that we remove that item from the consent agenda.
Okay, we can do that. Any other comments? Okay, Director, over to you.
Madam President, Commissioners, good morning. Before I jump into the topics that I have prepared for you today, I had some late-breaking news that occurred earlier this morning I'd like to share with you. The Idaho Business Review just released this, and I'd like to let you know that the Ada County Highway District has been deemed an award winner for empowering women and such. This is a huge deal across the board. There are a couple others that will be joining us, but they're major corporations. And so at the end of the day, I don't see in here another government organization that will be honored as such. So the date is April 4th. Again, I would ask you to put those on your calendars. I'm sure Stacy will help you with that. But this truly is a big deal for the district, and it truly signifies where we are continue to lead in all operations. So it's been an amazing year with the WTS awards, with the Idaho Business Review awards prior, and now this one. This is a big deal. So anyway, we're very happy about this. We want to share it with you right off the bat. Commissioners, in front of you, you have your monthly impact fee report. And of course, this has been shared with all the mayors and with the speaker. I'd like to draw your attention to just a couple points on this. On this page, on the front side, you'll note that Meridian continues to lead Ada County in both residential and commercial impact fee investments. Star is now the number 2 in residential, and Garden City is the number 2 when it comes down to commercial. So you can see what appears to be a shift in where people are investing in Ada County. Commissioners, we had, as I shared with you last week, Jennifer held her hot wash with the regarding winter operations. I have 11 pages of insights across the board. I'm not going to share all these, of course, with you now, but Jennifer, where are you? There you are. If you wouldn't mind just coming up and giving the commissioners just one or two of the insights that your team gained.
Thank you, Director. President Pickering, Commissioners, Jennifer Behringer, Deputy Director of Maintenance. We had a really good hot wash last week to talk through our winter operations. The entire discussion lasted about 4.5 hours. So a lot of really good, we highlighted the things that went well, things we need to continue doing, and some of the things we can continue to work on, always room for growth. A couple of things that really went well with this storm was our timing of going into 24/7 operations. So we had already kind of postured a little bit, started getting people's sleep schedules oriented. And then when we rolled into 24-hour operations, they were just good to go. We didn't have any lost time because of that. So really good on that timing. And then our decision to go into the residentials kind of early in the storm. We had gotten well enough ahead of our priority ones and started getting into those priority twos, which got us into the neighborhoods. Our first priority being the neighborhoods with the vulnerable populations. So that really went well with how we determined which neighborhoods would get hit first, those areas that had more of the vulnerable population kind of per capita. And in general, taking care of our people and our equipment and materials. So morale was high through the event. We watched people, the operators, to make sure that we didn't have too many sleepy eyes, and if they were looking rough, we had replacements on hand to pull them out of their routes and put somebody else in. So really taking care of them, taking care of the morale. Equipment was great, material usage was great. So everything on that end worked well. Some of the things that we think we can improve on, and we'll work on this mostly in training. So for our operators, when we had our shift change, the folks going out sometimes wouldn't wait for the inbound people to come in. So the handoffs weren't great, especially when we're getting into some of those residential areas. So we're going to work on that, how they're communicating, kind of give them a template on these are the things you need to pass along face to face with the person you're handing off to, rather than just kind of leaving your keys on the pegboard. And then and I didn't mention this, but when we went into the residentials, we used contractors. So we brought more equipment and more operators. And along those same lines, we used inspectors from DTS and Plans and Projects. So we were able to augment our force a little bit using other resources throughout ACHD. And that worked really, really well. So one of the things we want to continue to grow on that is finding a way to kind of build a training so that before the storm, we're all on the same page of how the inspectors will help to manage the contractors. And then if we have to build a kind of a reserve team of operators, that we roll them into training as well. So a lot of really good things from the storm and some lessons learned. We haven't gone into that kind of 24-hour operation in the last few years. So it was really, for that, it went really well. And I think the number of kudos we got from the community really reflects that. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thanks, Jennifer. I think I have a question though, really quick. So can you give us a sense of who were the participants in the hot wash?
Oh, we had all the managers, so maintenance manager and fleet manager. We had all of the on-call supervisors, so the ones that were doing the 24/7, the superintendents, and then really all the crew chiefs. So we had, I want to say it was about 20 to 30 people in the room. So of the operators, we also had communications in the room because they were a significant part of that positive messaging that went out. So that was really the team.
So the one that Director Wong talked about with like the ADA committee.
That's going to be in
later.
March.
That's coming later, right?
Yeah,
so
that'll be. We'll go talk to them in March at their meeting.
Gotcha. Commissioners, quick questions. Commissioner Hansen.
My only question is now that we're in the phase of the drainage, is that a completely separate, or is the way in which we approach winter operations and snow removal tied into this is integrated to, because unless we do it right, we have clogged drains. So how does that integrate with our strategy that we're now doing now, which there's a lot of kudos to our communications team on making sure that the drainage systems are clear and, all this snow melt and rain.
Yes, President Pickering, Commissioner Hansen, they are connected. So how we run our winter operations rolls right into how is that snow going to melt off. The amount of materials we use, so trying to reduce the amount of sand, which could then impact drainage, putting a focus toward the end of the storm on getting the storm drains cleared, and communications did a great job pushing that out to the community to say, just help us clear those drains. So as the snow melted, the drains were clear. And then this rain that we got over the weekend, just kind of highlighted that there was still leaves and debris in the roadway before the snow happened. So it's all connected.
Yeah, that'd be great. And also to tie it in, because I know we're quite reliant on the public and the network within the neighborhoods to clear the drains, take responsibility, find the drains in your neighborhood, clear them, is to sort of figure out, maybe that's a strategy to tie in to identify the key crosswalks that obviously the trucks can't get into to clear. So once the trucks have gone by, the neighborhood then plays a role in helping to clear those crosswalks and those ADA access points so that they don't sit there for a while. It's
Absolutely.
like all done at the same time. It's kind of the similar sort of, let's help do it all together. We can get it done quickly and everybody can pitch in.
And we did so much better on crosswalk clearings with this storm than we have in previous. We put a lot of attention on it, even while we still had active snow. In the past, it would be, we'd wait till the snow and then we'd start to address it. And we'd rely a lot on that snow melt with the sun. But with so much snow, we put a priority on like the Z crossings, those pedestrian refuges, those kinds of areas. So we're going to start to formalize that with priorities, and that's one of the next steps that we're going to be working on after the wintertime.
Okay.
Madam President.
Commissioner McKinney.
Jennifer, first of all, congratulations on a good job this year. Of course, knock on wood. Who knows? We could still get some big snow, but I think your team did very well. I have two kind of questions. The first one is, it seems to me, one of the biggest concerns, and it's going to happen with every single storm, is the kind of thing that Commissioner Hansen was talking about with pedestrian access, crosswalks, ADA ramps, and bus stops, and so on. When you think about the scale of that, any big storm is always going to cause problems. And, we had you can set your watch by it. Every time there's a big storm, people, talk to us because they're concerned that, this area hasn't been cleared, that area hasn't been cleared. And it strikes me that on the one hand, to have the sufficient resources to clear all of those things very quickly to the satisfaction of many people, including ADA advocates and others, is really beyond the ability. I mean, the cost would be astronomical. But it seems to me that something we might do that maybe we haven't done as much, and I'm not aware necessarily of what we are or aren't doing, but is for our communications department to prepare, community action messages, messages that can be put out, blanketing, the airwaves during a major event, calling on people to get out, once you've cleared your driveway and your sidewalks, go see if there's a crosswalk or a ramp in your neighborhood and work together to clear those. Because if you can mobilize, if you have a big storm, people are stuck at home a lot anyway. If you can mobilize, basically the civic virtue of the people, we can get a lot of these things done. And it strikes me that publicity is a big part of that. So that's kind of one suggestion. I don't know if our communications department can have some sort of plan on that. My next question, and this is kind of a real question, I'm thinking back to, this last storm, there were many fortunate aspects of it. It hit on a long weekend, so we had 3 days with very little commuter traffic, no school traffic, and so on, which helped out with our snow removal process. I think back to Snowmageddon, of course, we didn't have that luxury then. So here's my question. What plan do we have in place for the next huge storm that comes along, as far as when it comes to such quantities of snow that it has to be hauled away, because that does happen? Do we have kind of a plan in place to handle that, and do we have dumping zones for dumping it?
Yeah, President Pickering, Commissioner McKinney, great question. That was one of the topics we talked about in our hot wash as well. We did remove snow in the downtown corridor. We took the snow from the downtown area and brought it into one of the yards.
You're talking just this
from
year?
This last storm.
Okay.
We did from the parking areas, because if we were to just push all that snow into the parking areas, there'd be no on-street parking anymore. Right. So we did talk about that. We talked about how the removal went, and then building a plan. We have in the past had locations already figured where we could put the snow when we were removing it. So that's something we're going to formalize as well in the upcoming months.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Madam President, just a slight follow-up again to Commissioner Hansen's question and Commissioner McKinney's. Yes, it is integrated, and one of the pieces of this integration operation is and we were grateful for this, for the more specific pieces of equipment that we're now employing that we did not have, nor were unable to employ in past operations. For the issue of communications push, yes, we do that, and it is it was amazing to see the fire departments from all the different cities weigh in, different neighborhoods weigh in across the board, but that's something we'll take to heart. And again, I go back to this 11 pages of recommendations. We'll be working through these, and then in March, sharing them with our ADA committee to ensure that we have their perspective on those key areas and opportunities that we may have not seen, and then come back to you with a game plan about maybe there's different types of priorities and there's different types of areas that we would be comfortable in recommending to the commission to institutionalize going forward. But that's why we do these hot washes after every major operation, be it flooding, snow, locust, and such. But it pays great dividends. And again, I will just jump on the bandwagon regarding our maintenance team, snow team. Phenomenal across the board. Phenomenal.
Director, I just want to add to that really quick. And one thing I noticed too, that there were, and I'm really curious about learning more if you guys covered this in your hot wash and with the ADA committee about the inaccessibility of the bus stops due to snow. And so I know that that's obviously a complicated challenge because some of them are on, within our right of way and jurisdictions, right? Versus some are on adjacent to private property. And how can we work to, I'm sure it's in there, but how can we work with VRT and these other partners to make sure that that isn't such a burden for folks that need to use the bus?
Madam President, absolutely great comment. I've already had a discussion with Elaine Clegg early on this, so we're going down that path.
Thank you.
Commissioners, in front of you, you have the draft state administration's policy for roadworks adjoining the Capitol and the Monument Park in front of you. We've looked at this, and as you recall, this is an outshoot of House Bill 25, where the roads around the Capitol and around and next to this monument were ceded back to the state for their command and control, so to speak. We have met with the director several times. He had asked for our help on trying to make this as painless for them as possible. And so our staff did work with him. He has incorporated some of the recommendations we had regarding Ada County Highway District and Boise when it comes to the coordination process to, again, make it hopefully as simple as possible for the state to move forward on this. Will this work? We'll see and such. But before I move forward with giving the director a thumbs up from us, I wanted to make sure that you'd seen this. And if you had any concerns or recommendations, more than happy to take them back and have the state look at it. As I said, our staff, we've looked at it. We understand the why, I guess. So our role is to try and provide the state as much support as we possibly can on this very interesting topic.
Commissioner Goldthorpe.
Yes, I suspect that if we do our job with this particular agreement, and once we notify whoever we're supposed to notify according to the priority list, I think that we should make that notification, note when it was, who it was, and then leave it alone. And we'll find out fast enough who drops the ball and if this is going to succeed at all. Thanks.
A true statement.
Just a quick question, and that these segments of these roads, from a standpoint of sweeping, maintenance, chip seal, and snow, winter removal, we're still treating those as local roads, not as state highways or ITD facilities. We're just treating them as regular maintenance of local streets.
Madam President, Commissioner Hanson, it's at the discretion of the commission, and if there are times when you might want to have the snow pile up or whatever, more than happy to, but no, it's our responsibility. All right, for HR, I'd like to share a couple things with you. This last month, we had 350 applications for 22 open positions in January. That's amazing. However, none for design nor engineers. and such as we go forward. So we are, there are 3 job fairs that HR will be attending in February. One's at BSU, one's for veterans, and one's in CUNA. And so we'll keep you posted on how operations continue to move forward. But it's interesting when you look at from a national level and an Idaho level, what companies are doing right now, what the challenges companies are having when it comes down to layoffs, removals, reduction in force, that sort of thing. So I was really surprised by that number of applicants for the positions here at the Ada County Highway District. In front of you, as you know, this is BFIT Bingo Week. You have your BFIT bingo cards in front of you, and it's going very, very well. If you'd like to participate, I'm sure the head of HR will be more than happy to share with you, but if you'd like to see how well you do, you can turn your cards into HR, and there may be some gifts at the end of it and such, but as our motto here is one team, one fight, so you're invited.
Yeah, I think we might. I think Commissioner Goldthorpe and I might send in a selfie doing what are we gonna do? Push-ups, maybe? He doesn't know quite yet, but yes.
Brushing my teeth.
I will remind the commission that many years ago, Commissioner Goldthorpe threatened the then City Commission to go on a bike ride in spandex. That might be something you would continue on as we move forward on. Commissioners, the decant operation at Cloverdale has started. Construction, the pre-construction actions are going on, and they've done a great job of ensuring that everything is safe and formally roped off, I'll call it, from other operations. The Integrated 5E Work Plan has had over 600 comments to date, which I think is absolutely great. Lots to do on that. The ITD ACHD staffs will be meeting tomorrow, as I understand it, to continue the Chinden 43rd Street discussion. I don't know where that's going at this point in time, but I do know that we've given ITD, these are our marching orders, and we believe you should follow and go in line. We'll see how that goes off. Commissioner Goldthorpe, as a reminder, tomorrow, Southwest Boise Construction Meeting, Thursday, 6 p.m., Amity Elementary School. Justin, Ryan, myself will be there as well. Member of our communications team. Is it Shandy? It's not you, right? No. Yeah, okay. Aaron and Rachel will be there and such, and
probably Marissa, and that may be all. From what I'm seeing on our social media, we don't have too many signed up.
Well, I'm going to look at it this way, sir. It doesn't matter the number. They're going to get the full Monty across the board.
Sure. And
we'll be there until every question is done. And our commitment to whoever's there, if we can't answer the question, we'll have an answer in 24 hours back to someone out there. And then under the guidance of one of our 4 key focuses of accelerating innovation or lose, I've asked Ryan and his team to look into the following. Now, the first one is I have to say thank you to the world's greatest executive officer and board member over here, secretary of the board, Stacy. She came up with this very interesting insight from the Netherlands. And this insight, they have a pilot project using what they call smart glow highways. They are testing light emitting paint that glows in the dark. Now, as you've seen probably since the last couple rain issues, we get a lot of concerns from the area about you can't see the stripes anymore. Well, the water covers the beach. So this might be interesting. So I've asked Ryan and his team to start looking into this pilot program that the Netherlands are doing. The other thing I've asked
Director Long, I don't hate to interrupt you, but that's also been tested, I think, in North Idaho. And so if we have some examples to look at. From the
great
state.
insight. We didn't know that. I didn't know that. And so and I understand too that this can also be energized via solar power. So I've asked Ryan to take a hard look at this and see if there's something in the near future we can do a pilot and see if it works here in Ada County. And the other thing,
Director Long, sorry, really quick. And how, I know with our latest snow event, we wanted to pilot and test the tape covering the fiber. When would we expect to kind of know more about how that pilot's going?
I'll have to get back to you then.
Okay.
I haven't looked into that.
Thank you.
Okay. But the second thing I've asked Ryan and Tim to do is, I want you to picture in your mind's eye a traffic signal, okay? and, you know, it's got red, yellow, green on it, and for whatever reason, causing accidents, inattentive drivers or drivers just don't pay attention, or we see a lot of red light running. So the thought is, and don't laugh, but the thought is, what if the entire pole went red, as opposed just to the light? What if we could look at the signalization and then somehow work that where when that signal changes, it illuminates the entire pole to get everybody's attention. I've asked them to take a look at that. Don't know if it's worth pursuing, but it's I wouldn't mind having one of those put up to see if that does work here in the district to, again, increase the situational awareness, not only of motorists, but of all users when it comes down to signalizations in the intersections. So they're going to look at that, and we'll see how that all plays out. And finally, in front of you, you have the picture, current status of your new TMC, where we are today. And it's just very exciting because stuff's being built and such. So, and then I shouldn't say final, we just got something from Compass, Housing Market Fundamentals. We'll pass this out to you. I guess there's a speaker that they have coming in to talk about what's going on. It's all free, but we'll send this out to you if you all are interested. So that's my director's report for today. I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Thanks, Director. Commissioners, any questions? Thank you, sir. We'll be at ease for 5 minutes. All right, it's now 12 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone in person and those joining us online. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first order of business is to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next order of business is to adopt the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered routine and are action items unless otherwise noted. The consent agenda is enacted by one motion. There is no separate discussion on items on the consent agenda. And if a commissioner or citizen would like, they may request any item be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. We do have a request for item number 3 to be placed on the regular agenda. So is there a motion?
Madam President,
Commissioner McKinney.
I move that we remove item 3 from the consent agenda and put it on the regular agenda, and otherwise move to approve the consent agenda as modified.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Is it okay if we place it as item number 2?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, rolling into our first regular agenda item. It's the Rhodes Scholars and Masters presentation. Welcome, Mr. Kuntz.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Dan Kuntz. I'm the T2 Director for LHTAC. It's always a great pleasure coming before you and, just celebrating this opportunity with you guys and your staff. I just wanted to mention that LHTAC's mission is advocate, support, and train all of the local highway jurisdictions, whether they're the county, city, or highway districts. As part of the T2, part of the T2 Center is a part of the national program. So it's the local technical assistance program, and it's nationwide. So each state has a T2 center. So we're just not unique, but there are other centers across the nation, doing the same kind of training. So I would like to just say that the T2 Center is set up in 2 categories: the technical assistance and the training. So technical assistance, when any of your staff member calls us up, we try to answer the question or at least get a resource to you or to the staff so that they have a chance to answer any of their questions or proceed on with their work. The training portion of the T2 Center, it's set up statewide, so we have classes statewide, and we also do a fall and a spring class schedule. Normally, it runs about 3 to 4 months time period, and it's been kind of successful, having a little bit of more of an open forum in the form that we provide private classes. So whenever your staff thinks that they have enough, and I'm sure you guys have enough staff to have 15 attendees, and then we'll come here. We're not too far away to do the training right here on your campus. So as part of that, we do offer a wide variety of topics, including safety, leadership development. Also, our largest form of training is construction and maintenance of any kind of roadway or bridge work. There are 2 levels of our program right now: Road Scholar, Road Master. It's part of the reason why I'm here, to celebrate that with you. For the Road Scholar, it's about an 80-hour instruction. It's about 7 core classes. These are like roadway materials. There's pavement maintenance and preservation. There's also flagger certification, so that kind of safety component as well. And then we allow 4 electives for each individual to choose, quite a wide variety of them. With that, we also do a road master, which actually builds upon the road scholar. And this is a similar situation where we have about 80-hour instruction. There's 4 core classes, and right now we've got 5 electives associated with it. So the core classes are roadway drainage, environmental BMPs, and speed limits and speed zones. So right now, I would like to celebrate with you and your staff, and I would like to start doing the roll call here. So Don Gold. Eric Carpenter, he's not here today, but we will celebrate him. Garrett Brand. Jeff Christensen. Josh McNew. Kyle Chappell. Mike McKinley. Nicole Russell. And Sean Alspach. I think.
If we could invite the commissioners down to take a photo with the road scholar. Thank you. Please stick around. Rachel will take all of you after the roadmasters out to take photos outside because it just turns out a lot better out there. Did you want us behind again? Yeah, if you guys can be up on the top level, that'd be great. And yeah, you'll have to kind of squeeze in since we've got it. All right, you can squeeze in just a little bit more. It's okay if one of you wants to pop up there with the commissioners. All right, 1, 2, 3. Excellent, thank you.
That's true. You want to stay here, Dave?
Yeah, it's just a couple.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and go to the next session here for Roadmaster. We have Greg Smith, Joey Ferguson, Robbie Rampt, and Travis Warner is not here today, but we will celebrate him.
All right, same thing. So, you're doing Rachel.
No.
Cheers.
Well, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
we are at ease until two commissioners return.
All right. Hey, are you ready to get back? He said to just go ahead without him. So, in the essence of staying on track, we'll go ahead and get to item number 2, which was previously consent item number 3, the impact fee deferral agreement loose screw taproom item. This is a request for approval. Christy, thank you for being at the ready to answer some questions, but I wanted to turn over to Commissioner McKinney.
Yes, thank you. And I don't know if you have the answers to my questions, because it seems to me, and this is just kind of the question in my mind, is that I know that, small businesses are always concerned about impact fees. I've talked to lots of small business owners, and they see the amount of impact fee they're going to have to pay. The amount of this one to us is a relatively small amount, but I'm sure it's a significant amount to the business person. But that said, every small business has that same kind of concern, and we very rarely have this kind of a request. So why this now? And if we agree to defer impact fees in this kind of situation, will that, one, set a precedent to where now every business owner is going to want to get this, every new business is going to want to have the same advantage. And as I looked at the information that was provided, it wasn't clear to me that there was some sort of unique situation here that justified it, as opposed to just what every new businessman faces. They've got to, here are the impact fees you've got to pay, and it's a hard pill to swallow most of the time. So can you enlighten me on that? Do we have any additional information?
I sure can. Madam President, Commissioner McKinney. So let me just back up about a year ago, and we actually had a similar request from a daycare in Meridian for about the same dollar amount. And I know we had some of these same questions then, but really we rely on the land use agencies, because this is a 3-party agreement that requires some extra, I wouldn't say effort on their part, but some extra eyeballs to make sure that they uphold their part of the agreement. But we don't have a policy in place here at ACHD that says we'll only consider impact fee deferral agreements for an impact fee greater than X dollars, or we'll only consider it for residential, or we'll only consider it for whatever. So the only thing we have is that we have the ability to do that, and we don't have any sideboards in place. I think the reason that, and I told the director a couple weeks ago that we've got a handful in the works coming from the city of Meridian. Also coming to you soon is the release agreement for that daycare. So they've completed their construction, they paid their impact fee, and then they got occupancy. So I think Meridian is encouraging people to utilize this, probably. I would say not all, but whatever the city is identifying as a business or a use where this opportunity would be helpful to the particular user. But in general, we don't get a lot of these deferral requests.
So do we have a particular, has the city given us a particular reason why this one they've pushed forward as opposed to others where they may not have pushed them forward?
Madam President, Commissioner McKinney, they haven't, and we don't know conversations between the development and the city. They could have said, no, we're not going to support 10 of these last month, but we're not involved in the conversation until kind of the city gives their concurrence with it. So they're not required to give us a reason, and they didn't give us a reason on this particular one.
Because I guess part of the reason for concern is that I wouldn't want there to be some sort of, and I don't know the right way to say this, but some sort of, dealings within the city that may not be 100% transparent, and we're simply facilitating something that maybe we shouldn't. That's kind of my question, and I don't know that we have enough information to answer that question. And if we don't have a clear policy about when we will and won't grant these kinds of agreements, then that's another question that we need to kind of answer. And that's my reason for concern on this.
Sure.
Maybe our general counsel has some helpful information.
Madam President, Commissioners, this started a long time ago with just one building, and it was the big hole downtown, the Zions Bank building. And the city and CCDC and ACHD, we were doing everything we could to try and get that project to move forward. And that's how this started. And the structure of the agreement is kind of delicate within the law, and I can get into that. I'm not going to today, but there are definite reasons. But one thing that I've noticed is even Christy and I met with the mayor of City of Star and other mayors. They found out that they have this new toy, this impact fee deferral agreement. And I think now, we've used it sparingly, and now we're starting to see within maybe the last 8 months, we're starting to see more requests. I think the mayors are kind of daylighting that there's this process. But I think now we're to the point where we really do need to develop a policy on it. Many of the concerns you've raised, and I've got some independent concerns, but if this is going to continue to be kind of the policy of the commission, then I think we probably need to do that.
Okay, yeah, and I agree, and I think that's helpful, because without a policy to guide us, and this is, and I don't want to suggest that I suspect this at all in this case, but you run the risk of, you might have a city hall somewhere that's kind of got an in-group and an out-group, and the in-group gets these benefits and the out-group doesn't, or at least you can have a municipal situation like that, and to where certain beneficial, exceptions are promoted in some cases and not others. And if we don't have a policy in place that allows us to be aware that we're not just kind of at the mercy of that, then we can potentially make some decisions that in the end, aren't kind of uniform across the board type decisions. That was my reason for saying, I don't know, since we don't have a policy, as our general counsel pointed out, that's a concern. My initial thought was, can we get a little more information from the city? I wonder if what I would speculate is that the city of Meridian is trying to encourage development, trying to encourage more businesses, and that's not surprising. But do we know that this mode of encouragement is being applied uniformly or just here and there? We don't have really a way of seeing that, and that's kind of my concern here. And so I guess, as I said, the dollar amount is not a huge amount as far as we are concerned. But do we want to wait to approve this until we have a policy? It would take a while for us to put a policy together, I think. Or do we want to say, wait a week and get a little more information from the city about why this is coming forward? Because I could see that if we just, talk to the city and say, give us a little more information on this, and that'll be enough for us to take it up next week and make a decision. Because I don't want to stretch this one out forever and ever.
Madam President, our current policy is we'll consider any impact fee deferral agreement. And that's been our practice. And until we get a policy, I'm not sure I feel comfortable singling out this particular applicant. I want to treat everybody the same. So if the commission feels an urgency to get that policy going, we can start working on it. But I think today with this particular one, I think in order to remain consistent and fair, we just treat it like we have in the past.
Thanks, Steve. That was kind of my concern. I mean, I totally hear your thoughts, Commissioner McKinney, and we can talk offline about getting that policy worked through. But yeah, I would side with the general counsel about not singling out this this item. Commissioner McKinney, did you have anything else to share?
No, I guess I'm inclined to agree, because it's not the kind of thing that we would want to just gum up all the works, but it does say, here's an area where we need a policy in place and need to make sure we get all the information.
Absolutely. Commissioner Hanson?
Yeah, and I would agree. I think we should move forward on this. I was here when we gave that huge deferral to the huge facility in downtown Boise. That was huge. So it's really about timing, and of course the city itself is deferring until a later date the impact fees it imposes for other municipal services, parks, whatever their impact fee ordinance is. And so I think the whole question we'll have to deal with is whether we are different than the way in which the land use agency approaches their use of their municipal impact fees. So I would prefer to go forward with this one.
Make a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the impact fee deferral agreement with Loose Screw Taproom.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you, Christy. Thanks, Steve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item number 3, the Engineers Week Proclamation. Director Wong, do you mind coming up? Thank you. You got a little ahead of us, Christy.
Sorry, I missed what you said because Ken was not going to be. You're coming up too?
Are you going to do the Engineers Week Proclamation?
Oh, Lord, no.
I was going to say, wait a...
No, I'm not an engineer.
I was going to say...
Well, on that, Madam President, Commissioners, you have in front of you a requested proclamation from the Ada County Highway District to honor our engineers during Engineers Appreciation Week, which I believe is the 17th to the 28th of this month. As you are well aware, we have an amazingly talented group of engineers that consistently take the extra step when it comes down to not only designing our projects, but ensuring that our partners are also on tap. They're an amazing group, and so I would urge that the Commission please support the proclamation, and I think Commissioner Pickering has it. Such.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and read it, and then we'll ask for a motion. So, whereas engineers use their scientific and technical knowledge and skills in creative and innovative ways to fulfill society's needs, and whereas engineers face the major technological challenges of our time, from rebuilding towns devastated by natural disaster, cleaning up the environment, and assuring safe, clean, and efficient sources of energy, to design information systems that will speed our country into the future. And whereas engineers are encouraging our young math and science students to realize the practical power of their knowledge, and whereas we will look more than ever to engineers and their knowledge and skills to meet the challenges of the 21st century, and now therefore we, the Board of Ada County Highway District Commissioners, Garden City, Idaho, recognize engineers for their important efforts to help drive our economy, protect our environment, and ensure public safety, and do thereby proclaim February 18th to the 24th, 2024 as National Engineers Week.
Madam President,
Commissioner Hanson.
I would move to have the Commission adopt the Engineers Week Proclamation.
Second.
been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, I just want to point out that 20% of this commission are engineers. And I'm not going to hold my breath for the Lawyers Week proclamation, but I'll be looking to legal counsel for that.
Oh my gosh. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Director Wong. All right, Christine. Now is your time to shine.
So excited.
Woo! You just couldn't contain
I
yourself.
couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait.
Yeah. So for those tuning in, it's we're moving on to item number 4, which is the fiscal year 2024 quarter 1 impact fee program balance.
For the record, I was number 3 before number 3 got moved. I'm sticking to that story. Madam President, Commissioners, for the record, Christine Tandler, Budget Manager. I'm here to present the impact fee program balance for the end of first quarter FY24. I just turned it off. Oh, that's cool. We began the year with about $8.5 million as the beginning program balance. Collections of just under $6 million, ending our first quarter balance at at $14.2 million. Main impact fee projects are Amity Road, 5 Mile project out there, as well as McMillan and Black Hat Roundabout. Extraordinary impact fees began the year at $2.8 million. With collections, we are at $3.44 million at the end of the first quarter. In accordance with the Ordinance 246A, Resolution 2331, reporting an impact fee program balance of $14.2 million. I will stand for questions.
Thanks, Christine. Commissioners? Commissioner Hanson?
Madam President, I just appreciate the constant update. There's no worry in deferring impact fees if our impact fee loan balance is $14 million. So I would approve. I guess it just
We don't
makes
need to
sense.
approve.
We don't need to
Yeah.
approve.
No,
I
just
appreciate this
information.
very much.
Thanks, Christine. Any other questions or comments for staff? All right. Thanks, Christine. And then our final item is the fiscal year 2024 first budget adjustment. And this is a request for approval.
Madam President, Commissioners, Christine Tandler, for the record, Budget Manager. I'm here to present the first budget adjustments for FY24 for approval. Staff does recommend approving the first budget adjustments as outlined in the staff report and presentations. At the end, you'll see that there is about just over $14 million that the recommendation is to put in the future facilities reservation to be used when drafting the 25-26 budget. So the revenue budget, significant items in the revenue budget are about $5.7 million related to encumbrances from FY23. Those are split about 50-50 between ops and capital. One-time adjustments, Highway Users Fund, House Bill 354. We received some additional funding on the kind of the tail end of a strategic initiative bill. So this was not originally, we were not originally anticipating this. However, after we got the first quarter payment in the last fiscal year, this adjustment is now needed. We do have a reduction in the future facility reservation utilization of $6 million. That is just lining a little more on the construction schedule with Apple and U-Stick. Originally, we had $3 million in each, but with current plan right now to get 100% plans by midsummer, it's more likely that we'll program those in the future years. And then we did have some adjustments in the commuter ride budget as well. The expenditure budget overall kind of remains the same when you take operations and capital and then all of those adjustments into consideration, and I'll go over those in more detail. On the operational side, we did move some of this is net zero. The Cloverdale Decant project was originally budgeted in the facilities operational budget. That was moved to the capital facilities budget category just for accounting purposes. We did also include the safety engineering team, FTEs, and those movements related to that. Fleet had some significant adjustments in first adjustments, as well as fleet equipment is what most of the encumbrances are related to. As you know, we've had some difficulty in getting solidified schedules for stuff. So those 3 sweepers from FY23 were originally planned to receive in 23, and we did not. The short sweepers were ones that we were able to purchase this year and get this year. And then bucket trucks that are pushed into FY25 just due to schedules. And so this is just aligning those that we've ordered them. They're just better appropriated in FY25. On the capital project side, we do have some changes in design just related to just schedule changes for that. The items within construction that I'll bring to your attention are the rapid project implementation. So the signal improvements and the rapid project on speed mitigation and ped safety. I do have a couple of those projects that I'd like to highlight. On the speed mitigation is the Victory Road, Cananero to Chieftain. This is related to ped improvements, widening shoulders and extruded curb on Victory, as well as they have 14 roads throughout the county to install speed cushions. The RPI signals are 15th and 16th at Front, Victory and Apple, Pollard Lane and Pickett Creek near Star Middle School, as well as another ped improvement near Star Middle School. University Drive improvements, these are ones that we've designed in-house. Weren't really sure where they were going to land, but those are ready to go out to bid now. And then the State Street Corridor improvements this is a true up from the original estimate that we had put in after the State Street split of the project itself. And then, so this just trues up that budget to the contracted amount. The capital facilities budget, again, as I said, we did reduce the construction budget for the Apple and Eustick yards, planning on programming those in FY25 and beyond as we work through getting those 100% plans, and then the decant station from the operational budget. So in summary, we have a proposed revenue budget of $246 million and a proposed expenditure budget of $232 million. That variance is just over $14 million. Again, staff's recommendation is to put that $14 million into the future facilities reservation for utilization when drafting the 25-26 budget and approve other adjustments as outlined. I will stand for questions.
Thanks, Christine. Commissioner Hanson?
Nope, this is good. I have a question. It's not related with yours, but it raises a question I forgot. If I could, I'm looking at design staff, if I could see the design, since we're moving up the pedestrian improvements on University Drive, if I could see those before we do the bidding. But it just reminded me that I needed to ask for those. I want to actually see the design, see what they look like. Thanks. Otherwise, I think it's great.
Commissioners, any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Christine. This is I need a motion. Yep.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, thanks. Move that we approve the request for the first budget adjustments for fiscal year 2024.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carries. Thanks, Christine. All right, so that's the end of our regular agenda items. Now moving on to public communications. Is there anyone? Yeah, welcome on up, sir. Please state your name and address for the record, and you've got 3 minutes.
It's Jim Vanderhayden, 894 North 32nd Street. And I heard recently that the State Street section between 23rd and 18th had been postponed for repair due to a bicycle lane issue. And so I would like to bring up concerns about that roadway specifically. And then the issue between 18th to 9th. I've been here 24 years. I'm a remodeling contractor, and I've traveled thousands of miles through the valley for 22 years. And I've had so many issues with that section of the street, it's kind of beyond conversation. And I'm curious as to what is the future plan? What is the time frame? We're constantly calling for pothole repairs. between 23rd and 18th. The roadbed is completely collapsing through that area. I'm sure you're aware of it. The other issues are the widening situation, especially when you get to, what is that? 14th, I believe, or sooner, between 12 and 14, where the photography studio section is with the brush up against the curb. I personally have witnessed people running into that hedge, bouncing off of that hedge. It's like I've seen probably miles of road stretch in this valley, and it's like the worst stretch of road I think I've seen. So I'd like to know what's happening. When are we going to get to this? It's caused a lot of problems.
Thank you. Well, lucky for you, we actually have a lot on the docket for actually 15th through 8th.
Okay.
So we've got some really big things coming. So I'd like to connect you to staff because they can speak into more detail about
Okay.
what's coming. And it's actually as soon as the spring.
Okay.
And then we don't know really much. I can't speak to about the 23rd to 18th piece, but Justin, do you mind?
Okay.
Or you can just connect with Justin after. Yeah, he can answer your questions and speak to about what that delay may have been from and all that good stuff.
All right.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you.
Is there anyone online, Stacy? Okay, perfect. Well, with that, meeting adjourned. We do have an executive session and we're gonna join in the back for that. Thanks all.